Hello and welcome to Visions. I'm Helen Roshkoot and our special guest today is Angela Treloar, a psychic medium, Pleiadian teacher and healer. Welcome to the program, Ange.
Hello and thank you.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about your background.
I was born in a country town in Victoria and grew up in a household of domestic violence. So a lot of my early childhood was spent moving around Victoria and other states. And in that time there was a lot of fear experienced as a young girl. And so a lot of insecurities over those years, different schools, sort of never really feeling like I had fitted in. And at about the age of 8, my father was killed in a truck accident. And it was at that point in time that I realised that I was psychic and had the ability to communicate with spirit. He would actually appear at the end of my bed of a night time, wow, which was very frightening for me. So I decided to ignore it as best as I could and would often turn face the other way and just moved on with life as best as I could, not becoming conscious of any of that. And it wasn't until I was 26 when I had a life experience that actually brought me back to recognising that I couldn't ignore that psychic ability anymore. My further background is that I've a degree in business, studying in accounting. I spent a lot of years doing that.
So that's pretty huge to be a young girl and have the ghost of your dad appear at the end of your bed.
Exactly.
Wow, so how did you cope with that? You just, you know, you were saying you pretended it wasn't there. It would have been really frightening.
And my coping mechanism was to put it down to imagination and to live in fear, actually, which is why I do a lot of the work that I do now, and especially with children and helping people connect to their intuition, because there is a lot that we can do that it doesn't have to be fear-based. So my education, my life experience has been about coming out of fear and into choice and empowerment and not, feeling more comfortable with ourselves and the environment that we're in.
And so this has led you into the healing industry.
It has. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I try to ignore it and avoid it, and that's where the mainstream line of accounting was supportive for a lot of years, but it was during that time that the other area sort of always kept coming back to me, and naturally healing was always part of the experiences of life.
So could you please elaborate how you came into the healing industry?
I think the lessons of life experiences put me in a place of wanting to search a bit more about who I was and to alleviate some of that fear that I'd experienced as a child. So I studied a lot of different alternative healing modalities. It started off studying psychology. I was very interested in, I think at 26 when I had this life experience occur, I wanted to know why my life was turning out the way that it had and why I'd had the childhood the way that I'd experienced it. So one of the things I studied was tarot reading, actually, and I was working for an accounting firm and they were more than happy to be the guinea pigs for me. So lunchtimes were booked out doing tarot readings. And then that overflowed into referrals and weekend work. And in the midst of the other modalities that I was studying as a, it was part of my journey that led me to studying those. So eventually I had more work doing alternative healing than I did accounting, so it was a very natural transition.
Natural transition. So as a healer you help many people. So what are some of the ways that you do this?
I'm passionate about the way people make choices for themselves and feel responsible for themselves. So a lot of the healing that I do is designed around enabling people to walk out the door feeling that they have control or a coping mechanism back over their life. Things such as teaching meditation or helping people to understand their intuition, that empowers people if they can trust themselves. Yeah. I use Reiki, I use a belief system energy work which is called Pleiadian light work, and I also use holistic counselling. So it's a combination of those to help empower.
Fantastic. And so you've just mentioned Pleiadian light work, so what is that?
It's an energy-based healing that is designed to move. Sometimes we have belief systems or patterns that are held within our energy system or within our psyche. Sometimes we have past life connections with people and contracts that actually lock in those belief systems. So on a cellular memory level, we will often experience something in this lifetime that we may have brought forward from a past lifetime, and the Palladium work helps us release that in this lifetime. So it's designed to help us evolve and to release, I guess, fears or just patterns that we're stuck in.
And could you give us an example of, say, a pattern that we've brought in from one life to another?
Yeah, I think one of the examples would be self-esteem. A lot of people, I think with that, what holds us back from confidence and from self-esteem is the fear of being judged. And for example, especially in the esoteric ways of living, in past lives, some of us that may have been witches would have been burnt at the stakes, or we've been hung or condemned for being outspoken. Yeah. So one of the really big things that seems to come through that is popular in clearing is the inability to express yourself. So the healing in this lifetime would actually go back and shift that energetically to help the person express themselves in this lifetime without that fear of judgment.
Okay, that's really, really fascinating. I'd like to pursue a little bit more about this, the Palladium work, and we just need to take a break.
Okay, thank you.
So as we go to break, stay tuned. We'll only be a few minutes.